interesting thing about opinion and editorial is that it's different from all the other sections in the sense that you're not actually reporting on news. It's really just that particular writer addressing an issue that's important to them.
I really like that there's an opinion column in the paper. The rest of the paper is very objective articles, while opinion you can be more creative because you get to include your opinion and there's more of a variety of topics that you can address.
The editorial column is meant to represent the editor's or like the newspaper's perspective on a lot of issues. A lot of people and a lot of readers look for some level of maturity, some level of deeper thought when tackling a lot of social issues like gender bias, for example, money. And I think that the editorial page is a really good way of shedding light on those issues with some really great in-depth analysis.
An interesting thing about me is that when I first joined journalism as a freshman, we were asked to rank the sections we wanted to write for, 1 through 7, and I put opinion as my last one. I believe that if I had to write about my opinion on something, I would end up angering a lot of people because I'm just naturally a very opinionated person. By my sophomore year, I was the opinion editor, and then I found myself within the next 3 years writing a lot of pieces like that. Opinion and editorial gives us a little bit of a voice, and it gives us more of a personality.
Reilly had brought up the idea of having a 2-page spread, and I contributed the idea of having our theme being things that need to change.
What needs to change?
Problems with the world.
The need for change.
Because there are obviously a lot of things that do need to change in society. Both of us had a lot of good ideas, and Chui had a lot of great design tips, so it all came together very nicely.
The vision behind combining opinion and editorial was to maximize just the ability to design a page and make it pretty.
Our editors have really been eyeing a catchy 2-page layout for a while now, and we decided to combine the 2 sections that were kind of the most similar in that sense.
We wanted to use a lot of white space and just to make sure like the layout was really cool. There's only so much you can do on a 1-page spread, but with a 2-page spread, you can really get creative with layout, which I think we did really effectively.
We prompted our writers to each find an issue that they cared a lot about, that they think needs to be addressed and fixed, and they got to write about that, and we put it together with a beautiful spread in which we're sort of illuminating the issues and the things that need to be changed.
So for this issue, we created an illustration that goes across the page in a diagonal, and it was sort of like a tunnel, but like very abstract and like graphical. We focused a lot on lighting with it, so we had like a person crouching down with like a lantern. We worked with colors a lot to create continuity between the pages. The goal of the illustration was to show there's different pathways or ways of seeing these different issues that need change, and we're shedding light on some perspectives that may be in the dark.
For the March issue, in which we're talking about the things that we think need to change, I decided to write for, I guess, the editorial side. And I wanted to talk about my privilege, how I came to understand it, and what I think the next step is for everyone else.
I think a really great article in our section was Deana's article about privilege. It just exceeded my expectations about what she wrote about.
My article focuses mostly on my experience through understanding my own white privilege. I grew up very aware of how I was sort of different from some of the other white kids I knew, and how that sort of made me always feel like a disadvantage, but how I came to understand that there are certain inherent experiences that I won't have because of the color of my skin, and what this means and what impact this has on society, and how I lead my life based on those that are differing from me in that way, in ways that neither of us really deserve or can control. And I sort of describe my experience working through this realization, what it has come to mean to me, and what I think that means for the rest of the community and the rest of our country, actually.
I loved her perspective of, she addressed herself as someone who is privileged and argued that we need to be more aware of our own privileges, which I thought was really, really interesting and had a lot of self-awareness to it.
Once we accept that there are those disparities that we can never really understand and make up for, that is the key to being able to accept the problem and find a solution for it, and stop trying to talk over each other and really hear what the other one is going through.
I agree with Deana in that we need to be self-aware of your surroundings and the fact that you are privileged, and making sure that you can help other people too.
So last month we published the article about privilege, and I talked about what that means to me and my experience working through it. We want to open up that discussion to the entire Pinewood community. We want to hear from you. You can contact us at our Perennial email and let us know, and note a letter to the editor, or in any way you want to express it, what reading that article meant to you, or what privilege in general means to you. We're really excited to hear your thoughts. Thank you.